Welcome to Project Fastfish here on Mike's Motorworks, and today we are putting some skin on the fish. That's right, we are applying lizard skin sound control to certain interior parts of the car, and I'm going to show you how I do it, because if I can do it, you can do it. You don't want to miss it. It all happens right now here on Project Fastfish. Now, when it comes time to work on your project, you need to figure out what exactly do I need to help fulfill the overall goal or the objective with the vehicle. Example, if you are somebody who is doing an absolute nuts and bolts full restoration because you have a complete numbers matching car and you are going into competition with it or helping to get the biggest resale you can from certain auctions, then this probably contains information that you're not interested in, because this is nothing like what OE put on their cars. They had a completely different process for controlling sound. Additionally, if you are going for a super lightweight race car, this is probably, again, not the route you want to go. Now, if you are someone who is building maybe a pro touring car or a weekend cruiser that you want to be slightly comfortable in or even run full air conditioning in, then yes, this is something I would highly consider. Now, with that in mind, the objective with Project Fastfish is a little bit unique. You see, this car didn't come with air conditioning. When Dad ordered it, it came with heating, and that was it. And he bought it, yes, indeed, in Florida, right, within the Tampa Bay area, okay? Now, that means it's going to be basically windows down, 65 miles per hour is your air conditioning, unless it's super cold outside, you could put the windows up. So why on earth would I be wasting my time putting lizard skin in the car if I'm going to have the windows open? Well, it comes to really controlling the overall, I'll use the term ambience of sound. In other words, controlling the unwanted noises. And that's what lizard skin sound control is really, really good at. Now, there are alternatives out there to lizard skin, okay? You could put in Dynomat or Boom Mat or whatever asphalt-based siding or shingling you want to put in here. Now, I use that term asphalt shingling in a comedic sense there, because in reality, it's not shingling. It is basically pads that are basically on one side, you have your adhesive. On the other side, you might have a coating or a smooth coating that you can apply over something, or even a shiny coating. And in between is an asphalt-like rubberized material that helps deaden the sound. It absorbs the sound by translating that sound energy into heat energy or transforming it. In this case, with lizard skin, it's a little bit more lightweight than, say, Boom Mat or the other options that are out there as far as those asphalt pads. Lizard skin is basically it's a water-based product that has little polymer bulbs inside of them and rubber balls that kind of absorb the sound in the same way that those other boom mats do. Now, it is a lighter weight. In fact, I believe it weighs only about a quarter pound per square foot with 20 mils thickness, okay? So that's not a lot of weight compared to the really, really heavy mats that are in there. Now, why am I using that on Project Fastfish if I'm going to have the windows down? Well, because it helps control the overall sound and resonances. To help give you a difference or an understanding of what difference it makes, let's take a quick listen to what happens when I tap here on the roof skin itself. That sound has now faded. So it had a long-term resonance to it, right? Now, I've applied door skin to this quarter panel. Let's take a listen. that resonance is already gone, all right? It didn't have that long-term resonance. It was more of a dull thud than a high-pitched ring to it. In fact, any resonance that you did hear was from the other metals that were maybe not coated just yet on it. That is what lizard skin sound control helps do inside your ride. Let's take a look to see what we've done for preparation. Now, there's a couple of different ways that I use tape here. Now, a lot of people will go really far and use some plastic sheeting and such around here. If you have that means and you want to go through that process in that step, that's fine. For me, this is fine because I know that any overspray I can wash off with basic water itself. Okay, now looking in these areas here, this camera doesn't do really good for zooming in closely, so I'm just going to point some things out. Over here, you can see that I just taped those areas up so that when I'm spraying, we don't get a lot of the stuff going on the floor and on the inner aprons of the car itself, right? So I just taped up those sides of the firewall, and I pretty much taped up every hole that goes to the exterior on the other side. Now, inside here, I went ahead and taped up some areas that are really, really important, such as anything that has a bolt on it or a thread, anything that has a mount on it, such as this right here, and of course, areas where I didn't want that overspray to get to, such as where the dash will eventually get mounted to. In here, I went ahead and ran some tape on the any kind of threaded hole here, and I just simply made a little roll and put those there, and then taped up any of the wire garments you see here. Down here, I went ahead and taped these up around here on the inside. I could have done it on the other side, but I went ahead and did that here just because I know that when I eventually get those drain holes or those drain plugs in, the areas would be a little bit easier to seal up on this side with those drain holes. And every single one of those got the tape treatment. Back here, I went ahead and did the where the latches go, where the bar goes for the rear seat, and of course the seat belt mounts back there, and of course the little holes for the various seat belt mounts and the tracks. I believe that's the track for the back of the seat itself. Now, the area where I will be coating today, I'm going to focus on the firewall area and then kind of work my way down. All right, I'm going to get this area done, hopefully, and this area done, hopefully. See how far that gets me, and I'm going to put 2 coats on there. If I can get further, that would be great. If I can get this area done in and around here, that'd be awesome. If I could stretch it to the back area, including the wheel wells, I would love to do that as well. Now, a lot of guys go as far as coating the sides here. I decided that's not going to be needed for this application, as I've already sound coated the inside of the panels inside there, the quarters, as I mentioned earlier, or as I will mention here shortly. And of course, back over here, I didn't worry about taping up there because I could just spray it and I'm not too worried about it. And I'll kind of have that, it'll be coated anyways. You don't need to tape that up unless you really feel on it. Eventually, I would like to sound coat the top deck in here, and eventually would also like to do the roof as well with the thermal. Additionally, I will eventually, not today in this episode, apply thermal just on the firewall here up to about this area where the headers might be located, and of course the roof top itself. This right here is Lizard Skin's Super Pro Application Kit. You can get this from select retailers, whether that's eBay, Speedway Motors, or your favorite parts house. I'll go ahead and leave a description with links so that you can check those out. Don't forget to check those links in the description below this video. Really helpful stuff there. Now, when you buy your kit, you get the application sprayer head, application sprayer pot, 90-degree tip, mixing paddle, wet film gauge, and of course, instructions. Now, obviously, if you're watching this video right now, you are getting a good set of instructions, but it's always positive to have something in writing. Now, it's important to note that I've already used this. I've already put about a gallon's worth of sound control on the car. Those parts included the quarter panels and the door skins. And while I didn't feature the spraying or the application at that point, I was waiting for this moment when we were spraying in on the car itself. Okay, so it's not going to be super clean in here, but you get an idea of what it comes with. So let's go ahead and open up the box and see what we get. Alrighty, there we go. As you can see, you get the instructions, both in color format and in printed format. You got your mixing paddle right here. You got your pot. You got your 90-degree spray head. And of course, over here, you have your little gauge or your triangle there. If I can pull that out, there it goes. Okay. And this helps you measure your thickness. And I'll tell you more about that here shortly. So pretty simple. Now, sometimes you'll get these kits with like a gallon of substance or the gallon of the sound control or both sound control and thermal control if that's what you're doing. They come in a variety of formats. But I believe when I got this, I ordered just the kit and got the sound control separately. With regards to setup for your gun here, it's pretty simple, really. The biggest thing is that when you fill this pot up, you can actually do it straight from the lizard skin bucket to this thing without using a funnel. In fact, the substance is too thick where the viscosity doesn't allow you to pour it with the funnel effectively. So you can just simply go ahead and go straight from the pot. Now, what really is important is setting up the nozzle here. This nozzle does change, all right? You can, and it is finger tightened in most cases. Let me go and get that guy off there. There it goes, right? And there's two ways to set it up properly, all right? You basically have a locking nut right there, or a locking nut, and again, there are textures so you can do it with your finger, right? Getting it to go in as far as it can go, you can make a little mark on the top and then turn it 2 complete turns based off of that mark itself. All right, that works fine. If you don't want to mark up the nozzle, then it's really simple. All you got to do is literally twist the gun twice while holding the nozzle and then lock that nozzle back into place. For most applications at most distances, at the recommended PSI, 2 turns is what you need. Now, again, I did mention that you will need to have this regulated to between 55 and 70 PSI. So you want to make sure that you get that set up accordingly with your regulator. And then finally, when it comes time to mixing the pot itself or mixing the bucket, it's pretty easy. They give you this little stir paddle here, but you don't want to use it in a forward variation. You want to kind of do it in reverse because you don't want to cut the particles inside with the cutting side, okay? You just want to use the reverse action there. And it sounds counterintuitive because usually using in a paint mixer where it goes in one way or the other, where you do this in a clockwise motion, all right? In this case, you're going to do it the other way around where it mixes from the bottom up. And then finally, when it comes to your mill gauge right here, all right, you have different milling points, right? And our overall objective is to get to a total of about 40 mils, right? So 40 mils on this device. Let's see here. Here we go. We use the side that's marked. You got 20 here, 24, 18, and it goes up to about 38 or 40. What you would effectively do is put this in, and wherever it marks to, okay, when you can see your mark, that's how thick it is. Again, your goal is to get 20 mils per coat. So find your 20 mil mark, and there you go. And for your second one, 20 times 2 is 40. So you find your 40 mark, and then mark that accordingly. Now, I realized that things were a little dark with the other camera. Things should be a little bit brighter with this one, and it's still in the drying process. Effectively, as it dries, it'll develop less of a sheen, turn out more flat like it is up here, but you can kind of see where I got everything taken care of with the first coat. Now, when I measured it, it did come out to the 20 mils thickness as recommended by Lizard Skin, and of course, everything was covered really well. You notice what I was doing is I was going up and down and then left to right, making sure that everything had equal coverage. Now, I've gotten all the way through to the back floor pans and included the wheel wells. I am going to do the second coat here in about 45 minutes to an hour. And as the parts are waiting, such as the Schutz gun and the pot, they are sitting in a tub of water to help effectively clean and keep everything loose inside. Again, it is a water-soluble material, and it should not gloop up or clump up with it being in that tub. So we'll go ahead and move on to the second coat here in about 45 minutes or so. All right, we're coming on evening, and things here have turned out pretty awesome. I am really happy with the overall look of the lizard skin here and how things turned out. Looking at the firewall here, let me turn the light up just a little bit brighter here. Looking at the firewall, things turned out really good. Nothing bled through the tape marks, which I'm really happy about. And we achieved the uniform coating. 20 mils to begin with on the first coat, and then total of 40 with the 20 mil on the second coat. I wanted to make sure that this area received a good heavy coat as well, and so I sprayed an additional dry coating on there because, you know, hello, that's where the engine's sitting, and of course you got your headers that come out on both sides. Around the transmission tunnel, you can see the results of where I taped off the points or the mounting points for the center console there, and was able to get the sound control around it in a nice uniform layer. Same thing around the transmission tunnel here. Down here, of course, we could see that it's still slightly brighter, slightly shine to it because it is still drying, but overall things turned out really good. Now, if you're hearing any kind of echo or resonance right now, it's because I have not done the top on the roof skin just yet, but overall really happy. Now, as you can see here, we went ahead and did the wheel wells, the under seat pan where of course the mufflers sit in the back there, and I had just enough to do the rear package tray where the 6x9 speakers go, so the speaker deck there, and worked it around here. Now, I did not work the sides over there, and again, like I said before, we have not done this up here just yet. You can see the results of where I taped it. Again, I didn't want it to be, didn't need to be perfect. I wish it was a little bit more perfect, but it didn't need to be perfect here. So you could see where like I left the tape up a little bit where I could pull things out. Again, this little hole right there won't make a difference. Again, this is all going to receive carpet, but it is solid enough where once I start driving it, if I don't have carpet just yet, I'm not embarrassed because of the structure of the floor here. Yeah, it may be a little loud without the carpet and the underlayment, but things are pretty awesome, I think, in my opinion. Additionally, looking over here on this side, things turned out really, really good. Was able to get all up in the side there, around the, what do they call that? The side cowls. And of course, able to get in the holes there and over here as well. And of course, made sure I got close attention to the wire route right here. And of course, both sides of the wire protection plate or that wire shield. So things are, again, good. Now, the next time that I get some spraying done, I'm going to go ahead and take care of this up here. That'll receive both the thermal and the sound control. And of course, I still have the trunk area to do as well. But I ran out of product, so that can wait for another day.